Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's arena time.
Alright, so I've got a Paladin, I'm 1-0, and as you can see, dealing with the fact that the casting cost barely gets to 5 by the bottom of the thing, like before I scroll down, I have essentially built myself a crazy Paladin rush deck. It does have a couple of late game, hopefully save my butt sort of moves, mainly just the one card that draws 3 cards and 8 health, but it does look like I'm in a rush deck sort of position. And it worked out well the first game. I don't know how well. The thing is, Warrior has a horrible, like, character power. He has the worst power, especially against, like, a rush deck. It's going to be very different when I start running into druids and rogues and mages.
Uther versus Gul'dan.
Let's see. In terms of theory crafting, a rush deck is actually a pretty good choice against a warlock. I'm tempted to keep the Blessing of Kings, but I'm getting rid of all these expensive cards in the hopes of getting cheaper ones. That's like all the same expensive junk I got last time. Oh, and here's the other expensive junk that I mulliganed last time. But once again, I still have a pretty decent hand, and I'm going second again, which is so strong. You're playing that thing? Really? I don't know what your plan to buff it is. The only Warlock buff cards I can think of are the one where it dies at the end of the turn, which would be pretty good on this, and the one that only buffs demons, which would kill this. So, I could coin out an Acid Ooze, which, the Warlock's not going to have any weapons, so that wouldn't be the worst play, but it's not very exciting. Or I could coin out a Reinforcement, which sounds kind of silly. I could save my coin, but I don't actually have anything good in my hand to save the coin for, so I'm going to go with the Acid Ooze. Again, Wind Fury doesn't help the Dragon Hawk fight this thing. It would just die the first attack, so what's it going to do? It's going to hit me and then hit this for 1 and die? No. He needs to buff her before she's any good. I don't know why the Dragon Hawk is female, but seems like it. Yeah, it can hit me for 2, that's okay. So, I'm torn. I feel like I should be rushing him down, like, for sure, because the more health he has, the more cards he can draw later. On the other hand, I'm slightly worried that he has, like, probably this was just like a bad card that he drafted and thought was good. But what if he knows what he's doing? It's better to assume your opponent knows what they're doing. And he has the thing that gives +4/+4, but it dies horribly at the end of the turn. He could hit me for 10. That would be bad. I think that given that my Swamp Ooze can survive attacking, I'm going to have to just kill that thing and get rid of it. I mean, he can use his Engineer to kill my Ooze, but then he spent 2 creatures on nothing but doing 2 damage to me and killing 1 of mine, which would be fine. Obviously not dropping the Owl. I wasn't going to use the Owl just to silence a 1/1 Wind Fury. That would be a real waste. So now, what happens?
I am master of magic.
Yeah, that's not good. He can eat a lot of my little guys, and I don't have anything good to do to him either until next turn.
To battle!
So I'm going to kill him. I don't like leaving the Warlock with spell power, but I mean, he can do a little bit of extra damage to me. 1 extra damage to me, not that big a deal. And spell power is not helping him against an army of worthless 1/1s. If he hits one of these guys, though, which I would probably do in his place, it will kill him, but then he'd have 3 health and I can hammer him next turn and draw a card. Not the greatest play, but if he doesn't kill one of my guys, then I'm probably just guessing the Mogushan Warden. Which is also not very scary. Yep. Well, it seems like the thing to do. We have very boring, like, not particularly scary armies out, both of us. Nothing overly threatening here. But now he can't do the free 1 damage to me every turn. He can't, like, pick on my little guys either. That's kind of annoying. You should probably soften up my Warden so that his cat can get through sooner or later, but I don't know, that means this guy's vulnerable to being hammered. Play the Silver Moon Guardian. Should be the first creature with more attack than 1 that I would have out right now. It's also not a very appealing option. I can hammer and Noble Sacrifice. That's actually looking like a pretty good combo. Because all these 2-cost plays, I can't do much else. I can't even silence this thing because it can't be targeted, and by the time it can be targeted, it won't have an ability to silence anymore. So yeah, I think it's hammer time. Let's see what I draw. But I can't imagine I'm going to draw something better than Noble Sacrifice for 1 mana. I'm glad I drew that, but yeah, for 1 mana, Noble Sacrifice. And then I'll start wearing you down.
The battle!
I definitely have to rush this guy down. I think he's going to get more dangerous as time goes on. He's going to play something fat every turn until he has enough mana to pay something fat and draw a card every turn. It's kind of assuming the worst, but I like to assume the worst. That's kind of annoying, but honestly, if you're going to silence something, it might as well be the guy that I don't think is that good in the first place. I'm not that happy with him. He's okay. Yeah, I'd like to introduce you to my body double here. You can hit fake Saddam Hussein. The real Paladin's in a little spider hole somewhere. Okay, so I can play another creature with Taunt. This one's bigger, better, and bubbled. So that's okay. I could Blessing of Kings one of my guys and suicide it to take out the cat. I don't really like using the Blessing of Kings to suicide at this point, though.
I wonder...
I can't Blessing of Kings and do anything particularly good. He has multiple of these. Like, he must have some plan for buffing them. That makes me kind of want to play one of my 4-cost cards and Owl and just silence that so I don't have to worry about it. I think he wants to give it +4/+4 and then do a lot of damage. I wish I didn't have to trade everything I have in play to kill that tiger, though. I don't like that tiger, but I should worry about it less and worry about beating him down more, because I am a little bit ahead. Problem is I can't play Taunt and play Blessing of Kings in the same turn, which is what I really want to do. Yeah, I'm going to play the one with Taunt. Seems like the safest move. I'm going to kill this thing. And I'm going to kill the owl too. I'm getting a better creature. Killing a 2/1, losing a 1/1. It's got to be worth it. It gives him less options for getting rid of this shield. Next turn I can play a really fat thing, or I can play one of my... I still have the option to play a 4-cost and an owl, which could be very valuable. I don't mind having a handful of owls. I don't need to save them as much. It's just how the mana has been working out. Okay. It still has Taunt, you know. If you want to trade your entire army for this one card, I'm thrilled with that, even though the rest of my army is garbage. That's what he's for. I'm already thrilled because his shield actually killed something that was a useful creature in play. You didn't have any easy way to just knock off 1 damage. Sweet. Okay. I mean, clearing the battlefield is beneficial to him, I'm sure. He probably has more fat stuff than I do. I'm sure he's got a better late game in general. Blessing of Wisdom on his Ogre is interesting. It doesn't have taunt. I can just ignore it. I'll draw a card. Even if he's using it to kill off my stuff, I will still draw a card every time. And I have 6 mana worth of other stuff I can do. That's pretty cool. I think I might do that. Blessing of Kings will make this guy a 4/9, which is quite respectable. On the other hand, you know what? I'd rather have more things out rather than just buff 1 right now. Because the Blessing of Kings is a surprise. Right now doing 4 more damage is not a good use of that surprise, is it? So, I'm going to play Silver Moon Guardian.
Silvermoon shall not fall.
Sounded like he said Silvermore. Whatever. I'm going to Blessing of Draw Me Cards this guy. And there's no point owling nothing. So I'm just going to generate another token. So 1/1 versus a 2/1, I might as well save the cards in my hand. If nothing else, it makes my opponent think I have more cards in my hand. But he'd be right, because I do, because these can neutralize annoying creature abilities. Like that. I'm probably going to play an owl next turn, because I like killing death rattles. Okay. You do that. You spend a card to blow off a bunch of health from one of my creatures that wasn't very good anyway. If he's hitting me directly with the Ogre, then the drawing me a card isn't hurting him as badly. Not quite, but it's still not a great position for him to be in. I'm going to hold this guy in reserve. I want to cast him next turn, because I don't think my opponent can do 21 damage in 1 turn, and this will throw off all his math for how the game is going. Meanwhile, I can Blessing of Kings something and still silence his Death Rattle and still make a token, or Blessing of Kings something and get 2 creatures out of this. That's not really better because I'm generating a token anyway. Okay, I think I've sold myself on a course of action. I could totally just kill his Ogre by putting Blessing of Kings on here. Do it. All it would cost me is a shield. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to beat the crap out of my opponent. I'm just putting it on the thing that is hardest to get rid of. If he gets an instant kill card, that would be annoying.
Remember, kill to lust.
I'm going to silence you.
To battle.
That's 6 creatures, so I'm still safe for the creature limit, because you can't have more than 7 out. I do definitely want to play this guy next turn. Next turn I can play him and silence something if I have to. Okay, so he spent 2 cards to get 5 health. That is a horrible, horrible combo. I would not draft that card if I had any choices at all.
Behold the might of Stormwind.
That guy's a little bit more dangerous. What's he going to do? Shield, then kill with the Ogre? That'd be a respectable play. He's got to do something, because his 12 health, my army's pretty close there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13.
So many possibilities.
He has got to kill some of my stuff. I think the only good choice he has is take off the shield with this thing, and then kill it with the Ogre. The Ogre is still alive. It knocks out most of my damage, even if the Ogre is drawing me cards. The Ogre that I intentionally left alive, because I'm so not threatened by it. And now, I don't even need this 6 health right away. Because he didn't hurt me, I can just keep this guy in reserve as a very, very unpleasant surprise.
I wonder.
Now, my army is kind of weak. I'm definitely going to want to kill off the Ogre now. He's served his purpose. If it's only costing me a 1/1, I'd rather kill him. It's not worth the card every turn. But what do I want to play? I can't quite do 10 mana. I mean, I could play the Corehound and silence his guy. But then he will just kill the Corehound, right? Not as impressive. I'd like to play a bunch of these guys, but I'm running into the creature limit, actually. And I don't have enough damage in play to kill this guy either. So let's see. Yeah, the Court Hound is too fragile, like it's just gonna die. These guys are not helping with the creature limit, it's kind of sad. But I think I'm gonna go with the Demolisher. And I'm gonna get out the Scarlet Crusader. I'm gonna hit him for a bunch of damage, and then figure out whether I want a token or whether I want to just silence him. Probably dumb, but I'm just gonna silence him because it does give me 2 more damage out there. Now, if he's hoping that he has a Hellfire, because that would wipe out my army pretty good. I don't know. You need like taunt or something, buddy, because you're not killing 7 damage worth of stuff this turn. Okay. That's kind of funny. I mean, I can just kill him. 2, 3. Yeah, I've got him dead. I'm going to play around just a tiny bit, not like waste a lot of time. But yeah.
To battle!
Join or die.
To battle!
Yeah, now I'll finish him. Just showing off because I'm a jerk. But you note that my showing off does not take more than 1 turn. I'm only showing off because mathematically I have won, and it's just taking a few seconds. I'm not like wasting a lot of his time. I'm not going to try and toy with my opponent, really. I just wanted to do some stuff, you know? It feels good to enact my plans. Okay, so I'm up 2-0. That's pretty good. Again, Rush is pretty good against a Warlock, especially he seemed to have poor removal and honestly drafted some bad creatures. So I'm still not sure how my deck's going to do against good decks.
Uther! Versus Uther!
Yeah.
I will fight with honor. Justice demands retribution.
Justice demands a new hand. So I'm going first this game, which is not very appealing. And I had a really bad starting hand. And I got a bad mulligan. I mean, it could be worse. I am still a Paladin, so I've still got a second turn play that's semi-respectable. He's got a secret. I'm assuming that's Noble Sacrifice, because anything else would be kind of dumb.
Reporting for duty.
Like the one that reduces an incoming minion's toughness to 1 would be an incredibly stupid first turn play. Eye for an eye would be pretty poor first turn play. This has got to be Noble Sacrifice. If I can get rid of it with a token, that's fine.
For the crusade!
On the other hand, I might need my token for blowing up her shield. Or not, I can just silence her. Okay. That's pretty good.
To battle!
And I'm going to kill her.
Get down!
Or at least use the Noble Sacrifice. That's fine. It was bound to happen. I'm not putting a Blessing of Kings, a Blessing of Might on an owl that's about to die in all likelihood. If he put out something big somehow, if he coined out like a large, well, he just used his coin, right? But if he could somehow put out something that was tough, I could Blessing of Might and then kill it with the owl. Unless he trades her for the owl, which is also fine.
Drink with me, friend.
That's kind of annoying. Although he should have attacked me with her. He should have hit me for 3 first. That was an error. I make those mistakes all the time. No blame to throw around, but that was definitely an error of him, that he should have hit me for 3 and then barreled it up. Alright. So I could knock off the shield and then hammer and kill it. That seems pretty excessive. I could put on a Blessing of Might, hit him for 5, then he'll want to get rid of this. But I mean, he can do it for just the shield, right? I think what I want to do is cast my own Scarlet Crusader.
For the crusade!
And I am going to Blessing of Might my Owl, just to put some pressure on him. Now he has to deal with the owl, plus I get to hit him for 5. So I use it like direct damage, but it's also forcing him to expend resources on the owl. Cannot just ignore it. And he's going to recast his... yeah. Saw that coming. His vast amount of shields is pretty annoying. My Noble Sacrifice should help with that. Now, I can play the Fen Creeper, but I can't play that and Noble Sacrifice, unfortunately. I think what I want to do is hammer his Brewmaster. It removes it, which is advantageous, and it drew me a card, and, you know, I was just going to Noble Sacrifice, but now I can draw another card by putting Blessing of Wisdom on here before attacking.
Join or die.
Job's done. And if the only thing he has for killing her right is this, like if he doesn't have a creature with charge or something, I might get to draw another card from that. If I get to draw a second card from that, then it was amazing, right? It was a 1-cost Arcane Knowledge or whatever that spell is, Arcane Intellect. At 1 cost, Arcane Intellect is a lot better because it's not taking your whole turn this early in the game. Holy friggin' bubbles! This is an absurd amount of bubbles. I wish I had one of those Blood Elf jerkholes. Now that's interesting. I mean, Fen Creeper, Noble Sacrifice would be a really excellent turn, right? Like, can't argue that. But everything he has in play is 1 toughness, if you count the bubble as a thing with 1 toughness. I could play the Knife Juggler, then I could Reinforce, which would take off the bubble or kill something. And I could still Noble Sacrifice. And if this says summon a 2/1 defender, that may count for the Knife Juggler. I could actually potentially decimate his force.
I wonder.
Should be noted that decimate really does mean killing 1/10 of them. That's what the deck prefix is. But no, that seems really good. And I can still draw a card by attacking him. I think I'm going to try the Juggler route. Even though it's random, it's going to be super obnoxious and annoying.
Reporting for duty.
I know I always get annoyed when someone uses summoned tokens to trigger this guy. Play that. Hit you for a bunch of damage and draw a card. And that is fine. If he puts out another thing with a shield, now I can neutralize it. Plus, I can start playing big cards now. And I'm not too far from being able to lay on hands, which I'm going to be saving because he hasn't hurt me yet. And I'm not out of cards by any stretch of the imagination. So he had a lot of annoying stuff, but I feel like I've been counteracting it very well. Like, he's actually not... He has been deprived of a lot of the value of his bubbles.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
That's very annoying. This thing is so good. I really wanted it. But Noble Sacrifice. He did eat my Noble Sacrifice with this, but the Juggler killed his bubble, which is awesome. Now what? You really need to kill her. You do. That was well worth the 3 damage. You can't just have her, like, running around drawing me cards all day long. It was sick. Minions attack to 1, which is pretty good. On the other hand, Ironbreak Owl, if I silence her, then she'll be just a... Well, it's not doing that much. It's only removing +1/+1 now, really. If I silence her, it's just removing +1/+1. I think I want to get out the Sunwalker is what I want. That's some power right there. If I do that, then I can't do much else, but I could still Humility Shattered Sun Cleric here. That's pretty good.
Let me think.
Let's see, I'm going to cast the Sunwalker and see where the 1 damage from the Juggler goes. If I'm unlucky, it'll just hit the champion. If I'm really lucky, it'll hit the Scarlet, whatever. Knife Jugglers are a-holes. I've noticed, like, they don't feel random. They feel like they are specifically targeting things When it's used against me, that's what I feel like. And this game, I feel like he's doing it on my behalf. He is deliberately targeting things in the most annoying possible fashion. So I'm just going to humiliate her and ignore her. That seems like the thing to do. She's stuck faced with a bubbled taunt guy who is actually fairly tough. She can commit suicide to knock off the bubble, which would be a good use of her 1 damage, kind of a bad use of her 4 health, but whatever.
Give me a quest.
This sword is still annoying. That guy's going to get big real fast. Oh, he's going to get huge real fast. Now I wish I saved my humility. I suddenly find myself lacking in humility. On the other hand, I have a lot of health and my opponent doesn't. I can just start beating him down. And if he's beating me down, then I can lay on hands myself and it's going to be funny as hell. Oh, wait. I am worrying about nothing. Because I know what kills questing adventurers. Introspection. What do I mean by introspection? Anyhow, apart from being a loser, I'm going to cast the Fen Creeper, because he's a lot better than Mogadishu. I mean, I can cast the Warden and drop a token. Or I could have a Fen Creeper who is better. You know what? Since my opponent's only creature has 1 toughness, I'm actually going to use the Warden.
Reporting for duty.
More creatures is more chance to kill this, or just more damage to him, which is fine. This is working out poorly for my opponent.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
He had a lot of annoying stuff. I don't know why his annoying stuff has worked out so poorly and mine has worked out so well. Yeah, that was a good deal, but yeah, you're correct, it's game over. Just for, like, demoralizing power.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Again, I'm not wasting very much time. I'm just kind of enjoying the glow of victory. I wasted an extra like 4 seconds of his time, or 20 seconds if he had to surrender. But he chose not to surrender, so I got to do some stuff. Anyway, 3-0, that's very good. Paladin Rush is working out for me so far, despite the mostly lack of fat. We'll see what happens next game. Put the hammer down on that like button.
And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and Scrolls Judgment videos.